G'day, it's Joel Rasmussen from Southern Cross Combat, and I'm here backstage at Hex 32 talking to Mr. Alex Perez. First off, Alex, thank you for the time. How are you today? It is fight day. You're not fighting, but how are you?
Not too bad, man. I mean, I'm confident with everything we've done, all the preparation. It's just another day in the office for us.
How does coaching compare to fighting?
For me, coaching is more of obviously a passion. Like, obviously, yes, we do get paid to do this, but I mean, it's not I spend time away from family and stuff. Like athletes like Cynthia make it worth it. You know what I mean? So coaching is definitely different than fighting. I'm not the one getting punched. It's a little bit of nervous on both ends, right? When I'm fighting, I'm the one getting hit, so I'm nervous. Obviously, you don't want it when I'm coaching. My friends and teammates are the ones fighting, so it makes it a little bit nerve-wracking for me because obviously I don't want to see them get hurt. Regardless, I know we're in the fight game, but at the end of the day, nerves are good. So I mean, like I said, I'm confident in this one.
While they are different, obviously, because as you said, you're not the one who's fighting tonight. There are certain similarities in terms of like you're out the back here, you're warming up with people, you make the walk. What is the feeling like when you walk out when you're fighting compared to tonight when you make the walk as a coach? What's going through your head?
When I'm fighting, I'm like, shit, I should have finished school and got a real job, you know? No, when I'm fighting, I mean, I enjoy the nerves. I enjoy the process, you know what I mean? The reason why I compete is not because I like fighting. I like the competition, right? I like to show that what I'm doing is the right way and things like that. And obviously, if it doesn't go my way, it just motivates me more to get back in the lab and do it, right? When I'm cornering and coaching, the nerves are still there. A little bit different. Like I said, I just don't want to see my friend or person I'm coaching get hurt. But like I said, I know they've done the work and everything. You can never control the outcome. We can control everything else. And like I said, that's usually what I go by. Like, we work hard day in and day out, so I'm always confident going into the cage. I think nerves is just a part of it.
Now, it's similar in terms of MMA. It's similar, but it is different. There's a much smaller population over here that's doing it. So this is just a little bit of like an Australian talking to an American interview. But so you're fighting out a team Oyama.
Yes.
However, Cynthia's fighting out a team Syndicate, right?
Yeah. So So I was at Team Oyama. I moved out to Vegas for the UFC PI. I was going through some injuries and stuff. So my manager advised me to move out there. I started training with Cynthia a little bit at Syndicate. I've known her for years. We started training together at Syndicate. I left Syndicate. Just wasn't my place for me. And she mostly trains with me now. I kind of coach her on the side. And we have a great team at the UFC PI. Even though it's not a team, a gym, we have a great support system there with Mitesh Nakash. He's a Muay Thai coach. He used to coach Jose Aldo. He's coaching myself. He's coaching Vanessa and Jessica, Vanessa Demopoulos and Jessica Andrade in the UFC event this weekend. You know, so he's a good boy to have. And with Chase Pammy as well, like she's trains with us like 90% of the time. She goes to Syndicate for a couple classes. So I've been doing a lot of her training, kind of detail work. I'm there for every practice. Like I said, it's a good little niche. Me and Cynthia just clicked throughout the years. I've always been a good person. Always been a big fan of her. I think I actually cornered against Cynthia when she fought Carla Esparza. But we've always stayed pretty cool. I think I sent her a message after one of her fights. Like, man, that was fucking dope. Like, she went out there and killed it. And I was like, hey, I mean, ever since then, we've been pretty cool and stuff. And always just a good person, you know. I love helping people like that.
It may not feel like it, because as I said, it's different between the States and over here. But over here, right, we don't have that many people in the UFC. So when there becomes there's a very big feeling around that gym or around that team or around that person. But like you just listing there, the people that are at the PI, that's not an official team. That's just like a group of people who get together and train, which really, what is a team? But what is that for you, and what is it like to have such experienced minds that you're training with? And you yourself are one, but you know, the teammates you have, the people you train with and prepare. What is that like to have like so much high-level experience?
It's good because you can pick everybody's brains. Like, the one good thing about fighting and the one crazy thing that drives me crazy, there is no right way to fight. A fucking fight's a fight. Look at Duplessis, right? Not the best striker, not this. He has a kickboxing background, but shit, if I seen him fight, you wouldn't be able to tell me he has a kickboxing background, right? Like, the way he fights, but it works for him. The way Conor fights works for him. I wouldn't recommend people to go out there and fight like Conor, hands down, doing this. Like, no. You know what I mean? So it's always good to pull from everybody, right? One of the biggest guys I pulled from, I was coming off a 2-year layoff, about a year and a half layoff. I mean, I broke my orbital bone, I ended up getting sick and stuff like that. And a guy that I leaned on a lot was Cody Garbrandt. He's been through the trenches. He was a UFC world champ, went through a slump and stuff like that. So it's always good to have those bodies where everybody goes through the same thing in a different scenario, right? So it's good to pull those guys for techniques and just the mental aspect as well. Like I leaned on Cody a lot. Like, hey man, how do you feel? Like, you know, and we talked a lot, and he helped me get through a lot of like mental things that I was going through. And I think same thing for Cynthia, her training with those people. One, she learns every day because there's the highest level athletes in the sport, and then two, if she ever had a question, she can ask those girls, and they were more than willing to help her out. Like, I mean, she's fought Jessica Andrade, and they were training together. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things, one of the best girls in the world. And it's just like, hey, it's a sport. You know what I mean? Yeah, we might have to fight each other, but at the end of the day, everybody's there to help each other out. So it's awesome.
You mentioned Cody Garbrandt there by name. I won't necessarily ask you for a checklist and list everything, because I'm sure there's people that maybe fall in the cracks. But how many world champions do you think you've trained with before?
So I've trained. Let me see. First, I've coached and trained with Carlos Esparza. I've coached and trained with Cody Garbrandt. Contenders that fought for a title like Chito Vera. You know, obviously I've trained like guys like Ricky, trained and corner guys like Ricky Simone, Louis Samoka, Russell Doan, Joe Soto. I mean, who else I've cornered, man? I've been in the UFC. I think I've cornered about 30 sometimes in the UFC, and outside the UFC, up and from amateur to pro, anywhere in between, probably over 100 times. So those are the bigger names I've cornered. But I mean, you got like a guy like Gianni Vasquez. He's an up next champion. He's knocking on the doorstep to get in. I got Elias Garcia, like a guy that I train with. He's the Octagon champ out in the UK, looking to get back into UFC. You know what I mean? You got Matez Nicolau. Actually, I fought him. Now he's training with Timo Yama. You know what I mean? I got his wife as well. She trains there. So we have a lot of good guys and guys that I've helped. I don't consider myself a coach, even though I coach and corner people. I consider myself more of a teammate and a friend. You know, coaching is just something I like to do. But I mean, I don't ever take the title of, hey, you're a coach, you're a head coach, you're a world championship coach. Nah, I'm just a training partner. I like to help out, and I feel like I got a niche to cornering and coaching and picking film up and with techniques and stuff. So I'm always learning. So I think that's what helps me get these guys to trust me. You know what I mean? So, and being able to train with them helps as well.
To have that experience, but how does it compare? Because yet again, comparing it to Australia, off the top of my head, title challengers or champions in this region, Australia and New Zealand, I think there's 5. I think it's Volk, Rob, and Izzy for champs, Kai Kara France, Urseg for title contenders, and then outside of that, unless I'm forgetting anyone, I think that's it. When you train with a guy who is a champion or a contender, compared to those other guys, what is the difference? Can you feel the difference between a champion and a non-champion?
You can, but honestly, the gap's a lot closer than what people think. I think it's just a lot of confidence in themselves and their training abilities, right? Where I feel like a lot of guys don't get that confidence until they start actually winning fights and start winning these big fights. Where the champion's already been there, win or loss, I think a lot of it has to do with the mindset of it. I think people put too much on the skill set. Like I said, it's a fight, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm one of the best guys in the world. I'm ranked in my division. But you look at me, like one fight I look like a clean striker. The next fight I'm throwing punches from my hip. You know what I mean? It's all just varies on the skill, the opponent and things like that. But the skill level isn't that far off. Everybody looks good. I would tell people, everybody looks good looks good hitting pads. Everybody looks good at hitting the bag. It's when you fucking get hit and can hit someone back. And I feel like that's the only difference. They're used to just little split. They can counter split seconds faster. They can throw a split second faster. They're more confident in their attacks. Where I think an up-and-coming person, a guy or girl coming in, hesitates a little bit because they're not too sure of themselves. So I think that's the biggest difference.
So much of fighting is mentality, and you talk about that hesitation. I'll just ask it. Do you consider the last fight a real loss? Because it's kind of a freak accident.
Oh, man, I can't take nothing away from that kid. You know what I mean? Tarsu is a good up-and-comer. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I always tell people, like, when I fought Davison, oh, he caught me in the guillotine. No, he got me in the guillotine. You know what I mean? Pantoja got, like, I mean, first 30 seconds when I fought Pantoja, I ended up breaking my orbital bone. You know what I mean? And it was, like, weird feeling. Feel like, oh, he got lucky. It's like, hey, man, it don't matter luck, nothing. You threw the fucking punch. I don't care if his eyes closed or not. I mean, he got me in that position. You know what I mean? More power to him. if he thinks that's a win, great on him. Like it shows on the record, yeah, it's a win. But I mean, if he's sinking confidence from that, I mean, good for him. I mean, I don't know how anybody would, but hey, I mean, I felt like I won the first round. The second round, it was too early in the round to figure out who's gonna win before that happened. But at the end of the day, I'm not salty about it. I mean, good job to that kid. You know what I mean? More hate on the fucking commentary. Fuck Michael Bisping. You know, I think he was looking through his bad eye or something because I was like, holy shit, man. Because I finally watched the fight, they were kind of made it seem like that guy was whooping my ass. I'm like, holy shit. You know, for every punch he landed, I think I landed like 5 or 6. It was kind of one of those things. But hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know, good luck to him in his future. We'll definitely rematch again.
But for you, like, did you come out of that fight? Obviously, you came out of that fight in a lot of pain, not feeling good. But it can break your momentum. I spoke to Jack Jenkins about this, who before his last fight, he fell, he got judo thrown, and his elbow dislocated. And he's like, it doesn't break my momentum. I don't feel like I have to rebuild. Yourself, do you feel like momentum has not been lost on that fight?
Nah, I feel like I said, like if you watch the fight, I felt like I was winning. I feel like he's one of the best top prospects in the world, right? And I was able to do that to him. I mean, it's not like it's gonna affect my confidence anytime. I always tell people I overtrain for sure. And the way I get confidence through my conditioning, my training, right? So the closer I get to fights, the more confident I get. You know, like after this fight, my confidence wasn't broken. It's always somewhat broken after any fight, win or lose, because I'm like, fuck, you know. But it's one of those things. It kind of just goes with the game. I don't feel nothing's changed in my head mental. I still believe I'm one of the best, and I still believe I got a title run in me.
And how is the knee? We are doing this interview sitting down, but that's not because of the knee. That's just because we're in chairs. How is the knee?
Good. I was kind of worried about traveling over here, 15 hours with the knee. But the UFC PI staff, with them, they gave me all the right tools and everything to make sure I can actually ride on the plane and make sure my leg doesn't get messed up. And they gave me exercises to do out here. Knee's going great. I'm in no rush to get back in there and fight. I want to make sure this is taken care of first. First and foremost, I'm a father, so my son is the most important thing to me. So he's about to be 4 in February, so that guy likes to run around a lot. So that's the biggest thing. I gotta make sure I can run around for him. The fighting and stuff is great, you know what I mean. But biggest things for me to be able to run around my son and go from there.
Do you know, is there a time? Is it after your son's birthday? Is it after February?
It's probably going to be in March or April. For me, it's just one of those things like, so fighting is my main source of income, but I also have an acai business out in California, and I'm also right here, Acai Republic, and I'm also getting into real estate and stuff like that, so I don't depend on fighting to make my living, right? People say, oh, that's a half an athlete, whatever. I was like, nah, I still train every day. I still, but I got a good team, good staff at Acai Republic Orange, and the franchisees that they help keep my stuff grounded and help me, especially they know I'm fighting when I'm in training camps and going through things like this. I got my family and friends to help out with my son, so I got a really good support system. So my leg, they all know my leg is the most important thing right now, and yeah, you know what I mean? We're just getting back on track, so I'm hoping to fight March, April, no rush.
Do you care for an opponent or just whoever?
I really don't care. First, my biggest opponent is going to be the scale right now. I'm a little hefty, you know what I mean? But enjoying the time. I fought 3 times in like 4 months span. So enjoy that time off. Obviously, I was gonna take a break, but this just gave me a break. Enjoy some food for a little bit. I look like a starving, child for 6 months. Cynthia would always talk shit because she'd look at me like, oh my God, go eat a burger, go eat something. I'm like, yeah, I was pretty grumpy for those couple months. A bigger asshole than I usually am.
Well, you've always been lovely to deal with so far when I've seen you. I'm glad you're getting a chance to enjoy the time. Alex, I won't take too much more of your time. The show's about to start. Thank you so much, but man, I greatly appreciate you talking to me today.
No worries, man. I love Melbourne. Besides the weather, it sucked. But I love the views. I loved everything. Got to watch some homeless guys fight, Pretty interesting.
A little bit of a pre-show.
Yeah, I got a pre-show. I got to eat a burger. And my boy Max, he's here. We got to watch a burger and a show, It's been awesome being here, just meeting the people. Hex is one of the best promotions I've ever worked with my first time out here. They've taken great care of all of us, you know what I mean? From top to bottom, from where we're staying, from, any questions from rides, we need anything, they've been very helpful. You know what I mean? Everybody here has been awesome, so I really appreciate the hospitality.
Of course, and Australia's happy to have you, my friend. Thank you so much for the time.
No worries. Thank you again for having me, man.